Hello and welcome to the Wrestling Answers podcast. I am, as always, your host, Jeff53, joined as ever by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Joebot22.
Hello, all you waptastic people. What was I saying last week? Was it waptastic? I don't
I think
remember,
that
but hello
is,
everyone.
I think that is what you said. Yes. Sad news, for listeners of the podcast. Unfortunately, the intro song that I've used for episodes 3 and 4. I no longer can use because it is actually copyrighted. So
Who would
I
have
may
thought?
have found something. Yeah, who would have thought? So I may have found something else for this episode. Although we are making this on a bit of a time restraint because we are recording this at about 7 o'clock. So literally 24 hours before it's supposed to go out. So I may have
Yeah.
found a new intro. Probably not. But from episode 6 onwards, we should have a new, hopefully copyright-free intro. So with that out of the way, let's crack on, shall we? Topic number 1 we've got today: handicap matches. Joe, what do you think of a cheeky handicap match?
I like them. Well, assuming they're done right, as we always say.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of different ways you can do them. You can do them where it's like the face is being like beaten up by three big burly men, just to satisfy old
Vinnie
Vinny
Mac.
or whatever promotion. But
Yeah, we don't discriminate.
we don't discriminate. But yeah, I feel like handicap matches are more done so by WWE, and they're more of a storytelling match, I would say, than a
Yeah,
wow, look at the amazing spots that we're doing. But I like them, assuming they're done correctly, of course.
yeah. I would say they work very well, like storyline. So it's like, uh, the best example for storyline I can think of off the top of my head is when Kofi Kingston had to have a handicap match against the Bar in the build up to his WrestleMania match with Daniel Bryan. That worked because it's like, they're stacking the deck against Kofi. They're trying to make his ascent to the WWE Championship. They're trying to make it harder. But
Yeah.
then you also have stuff like, I remember Ryback used to have like 3-on-1 handicap matches, and he just squash all three of the jobbers.
Oh yeah, that
So
was
yeah, you get
they're
ones
they're
out of
some of the worst.
storyline as well. But I think handicap matches, you don't see them very often because they are like, they're either used to get someone strong over, or you use them in storyline. So like,
Yeah.
obviously, last week we did, it was first blood matches last week. Uh, Very opposite to that. I think a handicap, it just works. Don't overdo them, and then you're fine.
It does work.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. One thing I was gonna say, I think I forgot now. It'll come back. But
Yeah.
shit. Oh God. No. Oh, it's about weaker people getting over through handicap matches. There's a lot like Kofi Kingston's run anyway. It was a lot how Daniel Bryan was back in like WrestleMania 30 time, where
Yeah.
he was just
Yeah.
being like, oh, overcoming the odds, or you what did Triple H call him? You're a
B plus.
B
I
plus
think
player.
it's Stephanie, but point stands. Yeah, I get what you
Yeah, I
mean.
think they all bullied him.
Oh yeah, I remember the
Just as
original
just
quote
as
was
the Bryan.
Steph, but yeah, it's all the same. Yeah, I think using a handicap in that kind of a situation works well to get them over and make you think, wow, maybe they really could, you know, win the big one.
Like even if they're losing, they could say, oh, the heel clearly cheating. They can't do it by themselves. They have to have other people. There's a lot of interesting ways you can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything else that we can add?
Um, I don't really think there's a huge amount else to say there. Handicap matches. Oh, there is a strange one that I remember that you don't think of it as a handicap match, but technically it is. It was TLC, I want to say 2017. The main event, it was The Shield, but not The Shield because Roman Reigns had the flu or something. So it's Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Kurt Angle versus, I think it was The Bar, Braun Strowman, Kane, and The Miz in a 3-on-5 handicap
Oh
match
my god.
TLC extravaganza. It's just when I think of handicap matches that are strange, that's the one that always pops in my head because it's the most random
What a
assortment of
weird.
people.
Yeah.
It was just like loads and loads of storylines just kind of mushed together, and honestly, it was ridiculous. I think I remember Braun Strowman ran into an ambulance, like Reigns like stood in front of the ambulance. Not Reigns, sorry. Somebody stood in front of the ambulance doors, and then he charged full pelt through the ambulance doors and into an ambulance.
Oh.
What a strange match that was. It's just like I say, it's one of those things where you think of try and think of examples of that match type. That's one of the strangest ones that comes to my head. But yeah, I think our general gist on handicap matches we've got across. They're good, just don't
Yeah.
overdo it. I think to be fair, we say that with pretty much every one we've done so far, really, except for First Blood. First Blood is just it's crap. But yeah, don't really think either of us have anything more to say on handicaps.
No,
Well,
no,
yeah,
no.
handicap matches. That is. Want to make that clear.
I didn't even realise. But yeah,
Yeah.
handicap matches.
Yeah. So moving swiftly on from that. Um, Now, our next topic I've got because something very, very strange is going to happen on SmackDown, and that is Logan Paul is going to be appearing on SmackDown as part of the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn
Yeah.
storyline. And according to speculation and innuendo within the wrestling dirt sheets, he's also going to be involved in their WrestleMania match, which I don't know
Oh
how I
god.
feel about that. I think I want to see him take a. I want to see him take a bump because I feel like he would be okay with taking a bump.
Oh
You know,
yeah. I mean,
I was
he's
gonna.
done
I was gonna say
boxing. So
the guy is technically a professional boxer. He's had a profession. He's had two profession. No, just the one. Sorry, he's had a professional boxing fight. So I'm sure he wouldn't mind taking a bump or two. But the thing is, I really want because I think this WrestleMania they're gonna have like a big pirate ship on the stage, from what I've heard. I want to see him get power bombed off the stage by Kevin Owens. I want to see him get power bombed off of a pirate ship by Kevin Owens because I think that would be really, really funny.
I mean, um, it's gonna be weird, but
Yes.
I,
Uh,
he'll
but,
probably end up like winning the 24/7 title or something.
oh yeah, yeah. That's what WWE do with all their celebrities now. They just say,
He'll
you know what,
lose it in like a video. He'll be like,
yeah. I was gonna
hey,
say,
ballers.
yeah. You're here for like 5 minutes. Just give him a 24/7 title belt for a minute and a half, and then R-Truth will roll them up or something. But yeah, I don't actually think I said it explicitly, but our topic for section two is celebrity guests. I think this is quite it's
Yeah,
quite a it's quite a broad topic, but we'll try and keep it condensed, I suppose.
I mean,
There's
we've been
obviously
talking
been
about this for a few weeks now. I
yeah, I
think
think
every
we've
episode
I
we
was going to say
mention it.
we've mentioned celebrity guests
Mention them a
at
bit.
least once, yeah, because obviously last week we spoke about Wayne Rooney fucking slapping Wade Barrett. Um, and obviously we talked about other ones as well. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But what do you what do you think about like celebrity guests? Like, whether that be like appearing for like a small role or in Rooney's case, being slightly more involved.
Well, it depends on how popular a celebrity is and how much they do. Because, like, say Mr. T, huge in terms of
Yeah.
like
Yeah, in the
WWE's
in the
history.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you think about Wayne Rooney, you just punch Wade Barrett. Like,
Yeah. Well, you say that. In terms of popularity, thinking about it, it sounds strange when you say it, but Wayne Rooney probably is as well known worldwide as Mr. T is, these days at least.
yeah, but like he didn't have as much of an impact than
Oh, no, no, I think that's more the way he was used rather than
with Mr. T.
Mr. T, because obviously Mr. T helped main event not one, but two WrestleManias, technically, as well as he wrestled in WCW later on down the line. He's had a big influence on wrestling. I think he was one of the driving forces for WrestleMania's success. But WrestleMania one's success was built on the is built on the celebrity guests that they had. They had um, Cyndi Lauper was there. There was what's his name? The the opera singer or opera creator or something. I can't remember his name for the life of me. But obviously he was there. You had other people there, like WrestleMania 2, I think it was Elvira, who in our time, obviously not nearly as well known, but back in the 80s she was big. You had guys like Bob Oaker at WrestleMania, I think it was 4, with like Andre like strangling him backstage. And then later down you got you got guys like Drew Carey and Donald Trump who have they had big parts in certain pay-per-views. Donald Trump obviously WrestleMania 23, Drew Carey WrestleMania 2000, not WrestleMania, sorry, Royal Rumble 2001. Like celebrities, they have a like people don't think it now, like because of how small the WWE is now. But back in the day, they did used to have big drawing power, especially like in the early days, because Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper, huge household names in the 80s. You see them associated with the WWE, and you think, oh, clearly this is the kind of vibe that they've got going on. And
Yeah,
obviously, they stuck around because, despite what revisionists would say, a lot of the early 80s WWE stuff was entertaining. Wasn't particularly good wrestling, but it was entertaining. And that's what people stuck around for. They stuck around for the glitz and the glam of guys like Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Macho Man Randy Savage, and like the grandeur of guys like Andre the Giant.
yeah,
And then they wouldn't have been brought to this product if it weren't for the help of Cyndi Lauper, Mr. T, guys like Bob Oaker. But then you know later down the line, Drew Carey wasn't. Drew Carey is a strange example because he wasn't the draw of Royal Rumble 2001. The draw of the Royal Rumble 2001 was Austin gonna win it and go to WrestleMania, which he did. But you know, I think actually, I could be wrong here. Um, if anyone in the comments section knows, do correct me. But I think Royal Rumble 2001 is Austin's first pay per view match back after his neck surgery, or his first like full match back. Because I can't remember him having one in 2000. I remember he was a special guest enforcer at Backlash 2000, and then he didn't have a pay per view match for a while after. He was still just like recovering. I could be wrong there
So
though.
I'm just confused right now. What I'm looking at right now is a list of everyone who's appeared and as a guest star
Yeah.
on Raw, and
Oh, this is like the Raw general manager thing.
not just general manager, but just like an
Oh, just
appearance.
in
So
general. Yeah, yeah.
some of these are. So we got Pee Wee Herman,
I remember that one. That
of
was
course. We got the
relatively
Muppets,
recent, wasn't it?
you know.
Yeah, my boys. Best episode of all.
Right. So here's where it gets weird. Grumpy Cat.
Oh my god, I remember that. I genuinely, I think there was like a backstage segment with Natalia because obviously Natalia likes cats and Grumpy Cat. I legitimately remember that.
Right. It is where it starts getting more weirder. So Ariel Winter. Do you know her? She's
Ariel
been
Winter. Oh,
in a
isn't
few
she off
pictures.
Modern Family?
Yeah. She appeared in February 14th, 2011. She's 23 now.
Oh
That
my
would
god, she would
make
have been
her
14. No, 10. No,
13, I
11
think.
even. Or 12 or however old she was.
Yeah, she would have
I
been
don't know.
13,
Honestly, my brain's a bit scrambled at the minute.
which is very weird. Why they got a 13-year-old on the
Yeah,
show, but
it's we move, we
should have
move.
got Ty Burrell on. I would have loved that.
Yeah, of
Love a bit of
course we
Ty
do.
Burrell. I've lost it now. There we go. This one was 2012. Jared Fogle, everybody.
Oh my god, I do know that one. I think I've seen that
I
clip
got.
where
Where was he on
he's
it?
the Raw host. He was the Raw GM for the night
Why would they get him on? Like,
because I believe one of the WWE's like pre-show sponsors at the time, because obviously now it's like KFC or uh, probably Cricket Wireless or some shit like that. But one of their old like pre-show hosts or sponsors rather was Subway, I think. So it's like get the Subway mascot out, I suppose.
I'm just looking at pictures of Jared Fogle now. Very.
Oh, well, we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. Back to what we were saying. Sorry, celebrity guests obviously had a massive impact a long time ago. However, now you look at guys like Bad Bunny. Um, and Bad Bunny's probably a bad example actually, because according to a lot of the dirt sheets, Bad Bunny has actually drummed up attention in the Latin American audience. So sort of leave him
Oh,
out as an example. But you look at guys like Logan Paul, and then even oh no, yeah, Logan Paul, and then go back to like your Raw GM ones. You got guys like fucking you got Ariel Winton, Jared Fogle. You know, they're not getting
don't
people to watch
don't forget the Three
WWE.
Stooges.
Yeah, and the Three Stooges. Yeah, like to quote that fella from the documentary that they made on WCW, and I can't remember the guy's name. I'm very sorry. They didn't draw a dime. They are not drawing any dimes. So I don't know who or I don't know who decided to get them in. I think it's more their marketing their show rather than they're here to help get this show over. You know? It's a case of listen, we're on the same network. For an example, Raw's on the USA network in the US. They get someone from a USA network show and they guest star, right? It's cross show promotion. Now, I don't even know what they're using Logan Paul for. You know, What's he promoting? He sells Pokemon cards now. They're gonna get
yeah,
him to fucking
impulsive
hock.
podcast.
They're gonna get
Everyone.
him to hock
No,
some fucking Pokemon cards. You know, he'll come out and Sami Zayn will be fucking asking him all sorts of
there's
questions.
a
He'll be
pack
like,
opening.
yeah, he'll be like, yeah, but I just got a PSA 9 fucking shiny Bulbasaur or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't know, but
God,
celebrity guests, like, I feel like we sort of strayed away from the main topic of celebrity guests. Celebrity guests have they have, and I think they still have the potential to have a massive impact because obviously with, like I say, Bad Bunny has actually had a positive impact in terms of getting more of the Latin audience to actually, you know, tune in and watch WWE. Surprisingly, because if you listen to, you know, average Joe Schmo, they would say Bad Bunny. What the fuck is this? Well, you know, I think the fact he's being featured in a
average shows, bro.
you know, he's being featured in a relatively high profile feud with The Miz. You know, he did a live
Yeah,
performance at the Royal Rumble. It's bringing eyes to the product ultimately in one of WWE's weaker areas, that being the Latin American market, because they let Andrade go. Ray is essentially retired at this point. Humberto Carrillo and the Lucha House Party are jobbers, so they don't really have any proper Latin American representation. So I guess they have to make do with what they can, and getting Bad Bunny in is the best they can do at the minute, other than bringing like nearly 50-year-old powder for knees Rey Mysterio out every week.
yeah. So, well, we might as well just sum this up. So, I think celebrity
Celebrities are
guests
good.
are, yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they are. I feel like the main point of this is I've sort of just given a description and evaluation of celebrities throughout WWE. What I'm trying to say here is I think celebrities are a positive thing for WWE because it helps get, in most cases at least, it helps get more eyes onto the product. Obviously, there
Yeah,
was the point where WWE sort of just used it as like ad space for other companies and other products, like Jared Fogle, like, you know, I don't know,
Muppet.
the Muppets, because I think the Muppets movie was coming out not long after.
Yeah, didn't the Three
S-
Stooges have a film coming out as well?
I think so, yeah. So, like, obviously, they're pretty much just in that period, they were just using themselves as ad space. Whereas now, I think the celebrity appearances nowadays are a lot more few and far in between. But as we see with Bad Bunny, they're actually using him very well. They're using him to grow their international market presence somewhat. But yeah, like I think personally, using celebrities is fine. You know, you don't see it as much with like other serious sports, but you know, I would be lying if I said like football stuff. You know, you get celebrities on stuff like not match of the day, but like I think like Soccer Saturday, they would used to get like celebrities on. You know, it obviously for actual football games, you're not going to a football game to see a celebrity, but like because the footballers are the celebrities. But it's hard to evaluate. Obviously, WWE isn't a real sport; it's sports entertainment.
Yeah,
But like, I can see like other sports doing similar things, if you know what I mean. So it's not like out of the blue that they would just all of a sudden go, ladies and gentlemen, Elias and Dua Lipa or something like that. I don't know.
oh my God, I
Something
want to
like
see it. I want to see it.
that.
Elias and Dua
Get the
Lipa.
baby out. Get the baby out on stage with Elias.
Let's go.
I'd love that. The baby, if you're listening, which you're not,
Bucket.
book it. Vince, the baby is what the kids are into these days. Get the baby in a mixed tag match. The baby and Dua Lipa versus Elias and who's a woman? I don't know. Dana Brooke. Don't know if she's doing anything. Mickey James. Mickey James used to do country music. There you go. Elias and Mickey James versus Dua
Lillian
Lipa and
Garcia.
Dua Lipa and the baby.
Get singing the Naomi.
Yeah, there you go. Get Naomi in, even though she's a face. Stick her with heel Elias. You get Dua Lipa and the baby.
Just get Naomi in a team battle.
Yeah. Yeah, celebrity guests. We like them.
We
And
like them, yeah.
all you fucking smarks on Twitter and fucking r/squared circle can kiss my ass. Nerds. Yeah, there you go. I've had my Vince Russo moment. All you smarks, you think I'm a bad booker? Well, you're right. I think that's
anyway, I would say we'll move on, but what we're moving on to is pretty.
It's something that actually could apply to this. Yeah, we're doing special guest referees. So, special guest referees, obviously, for those who don't know, it's when an actual referee is replaced with somebody else. Typically, it's used in storylines where there's like 3 people involved. So, like,
AJ Lee.
Yeah, like AJ Lee was involved in the John Cena and CM Punk feud in, was it 2012? That would have been.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, as we know now, AJ Lee is married to CM Punk, but like in storyline, she was also like flirting with John or something, and then she was also the Raw GM, I think. And so they made her, so she made herself the special guest referee to make sure there'd be like no biased pinfall. I think I can't remember that storyline off the top of my head exactly, but you get the gist. But yeah, like special guest referees can also just be celebrities. It's happened a few times. Usually, this would be on like an episode of Raw. Like I'm sure you would have seen it back in like the mystery GM or guest GM era, where you would have got someone like I don't know. I think Hugh Jackman might have special guest refereed a match at one point.
Oh,
I feel like that would have, because I remember he had his whole thing with Zack. I about to say Zack Snyder, Jesus, Zack Ryder. He had his whole thing with Zack Ryder, where he's like a Zack Ryder super fan or something. And
I think he was just a manager for that match, wasn't he?
He might have been, yeah. I doubt he took a bump.
Who the fuck is dressed up as Magneto here? What the fuck?
What? You're just looking at random things now.
No, so Dolph Ziggler and Hugh Jackman are in the ring, and there's a guy as Magneto.
It might be.
Oh, it's Sandow.
I was gonna say it might be Sandow, because that was his whole shtick. Was dressing up and pretending to be other people. Most famously, The Miz. But yeah, special guest referees typically used in storyline. For example, WrestleMania 13, Austin versus Bret Hart. Special guest referee was Ken Shamrock. That was actually while he was still with the UFC, rather than while he joined the WWE. So that was more to establish like this match could really kick off. So we need to get the actual legitimate UFC heavyweight champion in to ref the match. But then obviously you get stuff like just like a random celebrity will special guest ref a match on 2012 Raw. Like, yeah, there's ones where it's like the special guest ref actually adds to a match, and then you get ones where it's like it's a nothing match already. The special guest ref is just there to bring more eyes to the match, perhaps. I don't know.
Probably. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
I think special guest refs, you don't really see them very much at all now. I think it's more a tool of the past, mostly because a lot of feuds are very one note these days. Ooh,
Yeah.
roasted. But yeah, I feel like the special guest ref spot, it doesn't really have much of a place anymore, unfortunately, just because the style of booking has changed from, like, in the Attitude Era, everyone seemed to have a problem with everybody else, so you'd get special guest ref matches all over the gaff. And then now, everyone's friends with everyone, so you don't get them ever. So it's just, yeah. Last one I can remember was Shane McMahon's special guest refed a match between AJ Styles and Kevin Owens back in 2017. I think that's the last one I can remember off the top of my head. Probably been some since, but I don't
I
care.
remember. I remember like Shawn Michaels was on a while ago,
Oh
but
god, that would have been quite
wasn't it
some
like Hell
time.
in a Cell?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
No,
Couldn't
nothing.
tell you, boss.
If
Yeah,
anyone
special
knows,
guest
leave it in the
refs.
comments.
Yes, and leave a like while you're there, and don't forget to subscribe and click the
It, it,
notification bell.
it's free.
It's literally free, and if it's costing you money, you're on the wrong website. Go to youtube.com/D's nuts. But yeah,
And
special
if you've
guest
seen this
refs.
anywhere other than
Please tell us,
YouTube,
because
please let us know.
uh, that means that someone actually cares enough about our podcast to want to put it on a different website, which it's A, flattering, and B, annoying,
Scary.
because then if they're making money, then we're not. So, you know,
Yes.
it's all about securing the bag. But back to special guest referees, talking of securing the bag. Um, yeah, I think, as I said, don't really have much of a place nowadays, unfortunately.
No,
Um,
which is sad.
it's a shame.
I
Uh,
like
but,
them.
w- but yeah, I like a special guest referee. Sometimes it can add to a match. Sometimes it can sort of distract from the actual match. Like, you get your special guest ref who they try and make it all about themselves. Her, Shane McMahon, her. But, you know, for example, like WrestleMania 13, I didn't realize Ken Shamrock was the special guest referee until I watched the match back, and like JR and Lawler and commentary explicitly say, this is Ken Shamrock, this is pretty much the world's hardest man, and we've got him in to ref the match because we feel like it's all going to kick off, and all we got instead was one of, if not the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. So
It all
you know,
worked out.
yeah. So there you go. There's a bonus point in special guest refs. The one of the best WrestleMania matches ever has a special guest ref. Need I say more?
Yeah.
But talking of referees, we'll move on to another point on referees. Ref bumps. So this is like when refs get like knocked down or knocked out during the middle of a match. I
This is
hate
the
it.
this is the first part where I'm going to be negative
Yeah,
today.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate
Oh,
it.
stupid!
It's so
And then they
annoying.
always
It
have
just leads to
the other ref
lazy booking.
bloody. They
Well, they
have always
don't.
had like another ref bloody running down the ramp or
I was
like
gonna say they either get like another ref to run down the ramp, or they get knocked down for just about enough time for likely the heel to just smack him with a chair and cheat. And it's
yeah,
just like it's
annoying.
so lazy. The ref doesn't even DQ. Like if they attack them intentionally, the ref doesn't even DQ them. That's what the ref's supposed to do. The ref is legitimately supposed to DQ them. So if the ref doesn't DQ them, he's a shit ref anyway. fucking hate ref bumps, man.
I think they should. I think what I mean, it'll be crap. But what they should do is they should have a like an instant replay on the Titantron, so the ref, the
like
ref can
like
just see him hit him with a
I
chair.
was gonna say it's like a
Like
VAR check
football or
in
something.
football. Yeah, like VAR
Yeah.
check, just like just watch it back. Just go to the video assistant referee. Just like, can I get a replay on that chair shot, please? I heard it while I was knocked out on the floor. Just need to know who delivered it.
It'll be
Uh,
like 40-year-old like dads were just like, ref, did you not see that? Did you not see that, ref?
yeah, yeah. I'd be like, that's clearly a foul. That's a penalty.
Get Kevin Owens out. Please, what's he doing?
Get him out of the match. DQ him.
Oh,
But
we
yeah,
all know the type.
I hate a ref bump. I hate it.
I just I
To
just
quote
don't think they're that
Degiology, I
good.
hate it so much. It never adds to a match. It always just ends up being refs knocked out. Oh, time for a chair shot, or get a manager involved and they like double team him or some booky shit like that.
It's
Just
never anything
annoying,
different
man.
either. It's just
No, it's
always the
always the
same.
same. Like if a face does it by accident, sometimes maybe they'll be like, "Oh, ref, get up." But it
Get
always
up.
just it's just the most lazy booking. Like you can't be asked to put somebody over proper, so you just take out the ref, and then they get a chair and just whack people with a chair for a bit. Like
Yeah.
it's lazy. Just leads to worse television in my eyes.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't really like it that much, but I would say it's working, but it's just not. Like, it's just
Mm,
annoying.
yeah.
It just boils my blood. I'm Bobby boiling, as I would usually say. But,
Yeah.
I think
So yeah, don't like ref bumps. Make for
trying to
bad
think of
TV.
something positive, but
To say about ref bumps, that there's very little. Like they were novel back in the day, but now we've seen them so much, and they're always the same. That it's just lazy. Makes for bad
why don't we get
TV
like
because you don't get a
ref
definitive
distractions?
finish.
They're good. I
Oh,
love
they're sort of the
I love a good.
same.
I know,
Like,
but still,
I think
it's
ref
better than just
distractions
being like,
can
oh,
work.
like, and the
I
way
think
like
ref
refs get
distractions are
booked out,
better.
it's like them
I think ref
slipping on a
distractions are
banana peel.
yeah,
That's how they go down. But
yeah. I think a ref distraction is better for TV than a ref, just
that's
like the ref getting knocked out. But talking about bad TV, move on to point five. Raw being three
raw,
hours, or just
just raw in
Raw for the
general.
last 10 years at this point now. It's shit.
Oh,
I tried
raw
watching
is
a
so
full.
slow.
I know.
I
Well, it's because
think
they've got to fill the 3 hour time slot, and you'd think they've been doing the 3 hour shows for 10 years now. You think, oh, maybe they'd be able to actually book the show so it doesn't drag. No, no, they're still booking like it's 2 hours, like it's SmackDown, but they just have filler. And that's how they fill it, which is
filler,
apt.
filler, filler. I
They have
hate
filler.
it. Oh,
It's just bad. It's not
like
good, even.
I don't expect to see a feature-length film every time I watch wrestling. Like, especially
Yeah,
now
yeah,
because
yeah.
like
I get what you mean.
as a kid I was fine with it because I had all the time in the world. But now I'm just I can't sit down and watch a like the other day I was watching this Justice League Snyder Cut. It took me 3 days to watch it. Like I can't sit down for 3 hours anymore and just watch
Snyder
something.
Cut. Ooh.
Hey, it's all right. Not still
Ooh.
shit.
Snyder Cut.
But hey,
Ooh.
is this the DC app, the decap, or is this the WAP? We're here to talk about wrestling, baby. And
You're the one that brought it up.
I was using it as an example, but so yeah, I don't have time to watch a 3 hour show anymore, and when
Yeah,
it's crap, it's
and
rubbish.
especially in the UK, because we don't even get Raw
We
at a
don't even get it
reasonable
live.
time. We get it at 11 p.m. until 2 in the morning. I am not watching that shit.
No,
It's
with
shit.
yeah, it's not great. I can't even say anything nice about it because it's too long for too little good content now. Yeah,
Too
I'll
long
go with
for
that.
so little content. Yeah,
Yeah. It's just rubbish. That is
bad.
rubbish.
Just
Um,
annoying.
I feel like we took a very negative turn.
Yeah,
Um,
but to be fair,
once
like, how are we not going to when we're having to talk about Raw just being a slog? Like, it's why I stopped watching. And to be fair, I didn't even watch like the full 3 hours because obviously there's like probably like a minimum of like an hour of ads, right? You skip through all your
oh
ads, it's
yeah,
still 2 hours, and what you're getting
eat
out.
all new Doritos.
I was gonna say, like, what you're getting back out of it is still shit because it's just filler. So much of it is filler. Then you might get a match. The match is probably going to end in a DQ, which we already know we
Yeah,
don't like a DQ, or God forbid a ref bump. And then it's just going to go to ads again. You get like 7, 8 minutes of something, and then bam, advert on your head top. Like, it's so moist. Like, I don't like watching Raw anymore. It's so moist. It's not fun.
they might as well just like start showing it in cinemas. Like
Yeah.
at least you get your
Well, I was gonna say if
popcorn.
they start showing it in cinemas, like, won't draw, mate. Won't draw a single dime because nobody's gonna go to the cinema to watch that shit. Only reason people watch it is because it's free. It's why the pay-per-view buys and like obviously the network subscription. I think because the network is a reasonable price, people pay for it, right? But
Yeah,
like the the weekly ratings for Raw are like are and have been like all-time low for the last year and a half. Some will say it's because of the pandemic. I think it's more a case of it was always going to happen. Like they've been on a downward spiral for years at this point, and I think the pandemic just gave people a reason to not watch.
yeah,
Well, even then, everyone's locked in their own homes, right? They can't go anywhere on a Monday night or a Friday night.
and they
So,
still
by
don't
all
watch it.
accounts, they should be watching Raw and SmackDown, but they're going out of their way to now not watch the show because the quality of the show has dropped so low that even the people are locked inside their own homes and there's not a huge amount to watch. They still won't watch it.
Yeah, I mean it's this thing where it's just like people just don't want like it's not as big as it was anymore. Well, no, it's not as big as yeah. Well, no, I'm doubting myself, but no, it's not as big as it was like back in the day,
Oh, obviously not. No,
and and people are just bored of it. Like people like know it's fake, and like they just don't. They're just not interested in the storyline because it is
it's
what the
all
storyline
rubbish.
they're producing is rubbish.
Yeah, the booking is
Everything's been done before now. It's just tired.
yeah, like the booking is just diabolical. I try and occasionally watch like Raw highlights. Like the one thing I'll give Raw is the Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss. feud that's going on. I actually am kind of enjoying that, like, but only because I'm watching like the highlights of it. I'm not having to watch, 3 hours
Sort of
of
full
Raw
matches.
to get yeah, like I'm not having to watch 3 hours of Raw to get a 5 minute segment for it and then turning it off. Like I'm just
Yeah.
watching the 5 minute segment on its own. It's
But no,
just
it's
oh,
I think it'll be
fucking.
good. But no, I think it'll be good if they
It'll get good if they make it less than 3 hours, but they can't because they're stuck in a
yeah,
deal that they don't want to be in. Because it's very clear they don't want to. They don't want to actually do it. They don't want to have to make the 3 hours, and
uh speaking of
oh,
something that no one
no
is
one's
watching.
watching. TNA/Impact moving to Twitch. That's a great segue there. Yeah,
I, I don't
TNA Impact, literally, I think it's averaging less than 1,000. Well, maybe not less than 1,000, but like it's very minimal the amount of people that are watching TNA slash. We'll just call it Impact. Nobody's watching Impact now. It's moved to Twitch, so it's literally free. All you need is Twitch. So like, you need a web browser to watch this. You don't even need a fucking TV.
you need
You can watch
Wi-Fi.
it fully. Yeah, you need Wi-Fi and a web browser. You're fine. That's it. That's all you need. And still, nobody's watching it. I think it might be because it's on a Friday night. So it's on obviously
Oh,
the same night as SmackDown, right? Same time. And everyone's just going to go watch SmackDown because bugger all ever happens on Impact. But, like, from what I've heard, the actual wrestling on the show is good. It's just. I think it's now like 1 hour a week.
ooh, ooh, ooh. God, right.
It's they're now working with AEW and New Japan. Like they've got like a Bullet Club storyline thing going on. Kenny Omega showed up a couple times. So like they should have more eyes on them. I think the move to Twitch they actually did a couple years ago now. You wouldn't have noticed because, like I say, nobody's been watching. But
I researched it earlier and I couldn't find anything
yeah,
about it really.
like they moved to Twitch years ago when their TV deal fell through. Uh, and they've just never gone back. And it's just like, does anyone care anymore? You know?
But no, no one does. Just
No,
no.
nobody cares because it's shit. It's shit. I tried watching an episode of TNA, and if I set the wrestling aside, because the wrestling, like I say, the wrestling on the show is very good. TNA's always been good for like the actual wrestling being generally of a good standard. Because obviously, the X division in TNA was like the big thing behind like the cruiserweight division and stuff. The actual storylines and the major content of the show, because like a lot of wrestling shows these days, the actual matches sort of play second fiddle to the story told. The actual storylines are they are rubbish. Like they're really really boring. Nothing happens. I think the last episode I watched it was a couple weeks after EC3 had come back, who of course we've spoken about on, I think it was episode 2 maybe. So
Yeah, yeah.
if you go watch that, you'll hear what I think and what Joe thinks of EC3. But that was the last episode I watched, and it didn't make me want to come back for another episode because very little happened. It was, I think, Eric Young is their world champion, maybe. Like, maybe I should have looked more into this. More of a fault on mine. But if I give you my honest opinion, I don't feel like watching TNA, and I feel like TNA has gone the same way that Ring of Honor has, in that all of their relevant stars have just been signed up to other promotions. They're barely clinging on by a thread. The one thing Ring of Honor had going for it a couple of years ago was they still had that exclusive like working relationship with New Japan. But now New Japan have a working relationship with AEW and Impact, who both have bigger stars than Ring of Honor. So Ring of Honor really is just like, I don't know how it's still going, to be honest, because it's been failing ever since the Young Bucks and like those guys left.
Yeah.
But I think the move to Twitch, ultimately, I think it's not a bad idea for them, right? I think being on Twitch, it means there's a lot more potential eyes that can watch it, rather than it being on some fucking random US TV network. Because Twitch, obviously, you can get Twitch worldwide. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on this. I don't use Twitch very often, but I don't think there's like national
No, I
watch
don't.
streams. So literally anybody could watch it anywhere. As long as they got a Wi-Fi connection and a web browser, that's all you need. The problem is they're not doing anything to make people want to go and watch it. Like, the one thing I seem to hear repeatedly about TNA or Impact, sorry, is their pay-per-views are really good, and you should watch their pay-per-views. But don't watch the weekly show, because the weekly show is terrible. But they make the pay-per-views really good to try and get you to watch the weekly show, and you'll probably watch 1 or 2 episodes, and then you'll stop, and then you'll probably just watch the pay-per-view again. Because the pay-per-views, the reason they're so good is because there's no storyline shenanigans happening like mid pay-per-view, right? It's just wrestling, and like they'll give you like a hype package, so if you miss everything, you'll probably know what's going on. Like, there's no point in watching the weekly shows anymore, I think, is their problem, because very little ever happens, and what does happen isn't very good. But the actual wrestling is good. So at that point, why watch something where 70% of it is bad and the 30% is good, when you can watch this show that it's like 95% of that show is the 30% that's good, which is the wrestling. So you've got like all of this that's the really good wrestling, and like, because obviously it's a pay-per-view, you're going to get even better than you get on the regular show, right? So you're going to get really good, really, really good wrestling with none of the stupid like storyline, weird like Big Brother show shit that they do nowadays. It's just good wrestling. So
Yeah.
that's why you watch the pay-per-views. But Impact being on Twitch, the idea is they get people to go watch the shows. However, that's really it. Like, they're not doing it. They're not doing anything to promote the fact that they're still on Twitch. Like, I don't think I've seen a single like piece of good marketing from Impact in
Oh no.
ages. Like, all their biggest guys get signed up by bigger companies. Like who is it? I think one of their biggest guys in terms of like, he's not like a typically huge name, but like he's a big name on the indie scene, was Ethan Page. He's signed with AEW now. You know, they had obviously, like, historically they've had guys like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Angle. Angle actually spent longer in TNA than he did in WWE. So like, if anything, Angle probably more of a TNA guy than he was a WWE guy. You know, and then you have big names. They came obviously from like the WWE to TNA for a paycheck. Hogan, Nash, Hall, Anderson, Ken Anderson obviously was Ken Kennedy. Who else? God, like Booker T, Scott Steiner. There's loads and loads and loads. But now TNA don't have any big name value. Like the biggest name they've got at the minute that is actually still wrestling for them is Ken Shamrock, who's like in his mid-50s. Like, yeah, they
Yeah.
they've got they do have, like I said, they've got EC3 and they've got Eric Young. Although, as when we're recording this, he did actually get injured a couple of days ago. He's out for 9 months, so
Oh right.
they don't have Eric Young for now. But like looking at their roster, their biggest guys are Eric Young, Ken Shamrock, EC3. Two of those guys are like homemade. I say homemade. They're like homegrown. Obviously, Eric Young and EC3 got big through TNA. And then Ken Shamrock's like, he was there at the very start of TNA, back when, Jarrett went on his Triple H reign of terror across the company, smashing guitars like it was nobody's business. But yeah, they don't have any big name value. Nothing's happening on the weekly shows. Ultimately, their only goal is to get you to keep buying the pay-per-views because the pay-per-view quality is so much better than the weekly show. So people are more willing to be like, you know what, last time's pay-per-view was good, so I'm willing to give it a chance and watch next month or next, couple of months, whenever the next pay-per-view is. They're willing to fork over probably not a lot of money because it's on Fight TV, which is a subscription thing. So like, I think it's the same system AEW uses. So like, if you're paying for AEW, you get the TNA pay-per-views for free. Like, it's not bad. I don't have Fight TV, for the record, because like I say, I don't really watch a lot of wrestling anymore. I watch Raw highlights and Botchamania, and that's it. But yeah, I feel like I've sort of gone over everything wrong with TNA at the minute, and I did cover what's good. Obviously, like the wrestling at the minute is very good, and the pay-per-views are really good. But I think the move to Twitch, it's sort of, in one way, it makes it more accessible, but in another way, it hides it because now it's not getting any TV advertisement other than their guys appearing on AEW. Like, you might not think it, but in wrestling, TV is probably still the best way to reach a new market. And at the minute, it feels like Impact is geared to people who are already fans of wrestling rather than trying to get the attention of newer fans. And also,
So
they don't make. Oh,
I'm just
sorry, what
trying
were
to
you
look
saying?
at this. Now I wonder if you know because do TNA on Twitch have donations? Because
I don't think so.
I'm just
I think they
wondering
might
because
have disabled. Well,
uh
they don't have like a super chat on their stream because they do actually they tape their episodes and then they stream what they've taped, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Like
Sorry, you can
I
carry
don't
on. But
think they have donos, but like
I
most of
can't
them,
see any
pretty much all of
people
their money comes from their
donating.
pay-per-view buys and ad revenue they get on Twitch. Like, I don't know, it's just I do feel sorry for TNA because TNA were. It's very safe to say I feel like TNA were the number two wrestling company in the
Oh
US.
yeah.
Like, without a shadow of doubt, they were the number two. And now, God, they're
They've
probably.
fallen.
I don't even know what they're. Probably, to be fair, they're probably still number three, only by virtue of Ring of Honor being pretty much non existent nowadays. Like, literally, Ring of Honor somehow gets to less people than TNA does, and TNA does not get views. All TNA does. and I'm sure I'll probably slip a topic in here eventually on like old TNA because I love talking about TNA.
But I think that's we've pretty much covered everything about TNA being on Twitch. I just don't think there's much we can really talk about with it because
Yeah,
it's
we've covered
it's just sort of
like a
died.
lot of it. Yeah, I do feel like they'll get another TV deal, and the Twitch thing is only really like a temporary thing until they get an actual TV deal. But the thing is, I don't know how far off that TV deal would be because, like I say, it's not really growing, and because they're on Twitch, they're not reaching as many people as they would have been on television. Well, technically, they're reaching more, but the they're not getting marketed to as many, if you know what I mean. Like they are technically
Yeah.
reaching more people, but their marketing isn't, and that's their problem. So I feel like yeah, eventually they will get another TV deal if I don't know business starts to pick up again, which who God knows when that could be. Like that literally could be it could be a
Could be
couple
never.
weeks, a couple months. Yeah, like I say, it could never happen. Like they could just
Yeah.
slowly and painfully wither away. And I feel like, and this is really sad, but I do feel like they're gonna just get bought by WWE.
Oh,
Either
God,
they
they
get
will.
another TV deal, or they'll just get bought by WWE, which is a shame. But on the plus side, to play the devil's advocate there, we'd be able to get TNA matches on the WWE network, which honestly,
Yay.
I'd love that. Oh,
That would be good, yeah.
get like TNA Slammiversary 2007. Whoa, what a pay per view! I think that was the one with I'm going off my memory here. I think it's Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe for every single one of the belts in the company except for the women's belt, which
God.
it
That's
sounds
like a WWE
ludicrous.
like
It
break the
was like
WrestleMania
it was
storyline.
ludicrous. Well, obviously, like Slammiversary. I think Slammiversary is like their SummerSlam, and then Bound for Glory is their WrestleMania. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, like obviously, 2007 was like when TNA was at its biggest. I feel like, and obviously, you know that having Kurt Angle probably definitely helped them because obviously Kurt Angle, he's huge. Well, he was huge. He was also probably fucking off his head on drugs. But like, oh mate, honestly, Perk Angle, like that's prime murderer Kurt Angle. Like he was a mentalist. Perk Angle was oh genuinely TNA Kurt Angle is my favorite version of Kurt Angle, and I'll fight anyone who says he isn't the best because he is. Like some of his promos from that time, oh stuff a legend, mate. But anyway, we'll move
We've
on
got
from reminiscing about old TNA to giving our general
we'll
thoughts
talk
on new
about present
TNA.
day.
Yeah, yeah, it's a shame for Impact. It's looking dire for them. You know, I hold out hope that they will get the TV deal because I feel like they will. Like I feel like maybe with their working relationship with AEW, maybe they'll get a spot, not a spot, sorry, a spot on TNT or like one of the TNT channels. You know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think it would be nice
Hold
to
out
see
for
them.
them.
Yeah, it would be nice to see them back on telly. But I feel like worst case scenario, they're just going to get bought by WWE because I don't think AEW would take the risk of buying TNA. Because
Nah,
also, I
AW
don't, yeah, I was going to say I
AW
don't
is
think
a bit
AEW
big.
have the money for that. However, WWE absolutely have the money for that. They're a $1 billion company. They could probably buy TNA tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised. And like I say,
Yeah.
it'd be very good because we get the TNA pay per views on the WWE network. So we get to see prime Jeff Jarrett prime Kurt Angle, prime Samoa Joe, prime Scott Steiner. Oh, stuff of beauty, mate. But one thing TNA did used to have back in the day was they used to have licensed songs for
Very,
entrance
very
themes.
smooth. Very, very
Yeah,
smooth.
I know, man. I'm getting good. Which the WWE don't seem to do anymore. Now, obviously, there's a very obvious reason why they don't do that. They don't want to give people money, but they still use older license themes. For example, Edge. You know, they didn't change his
Yeah,
because I think if they tried to,
I'm gonna
everybody
say
on
Edge.
planet Earth would probably kick off. You know, but genuinely, other than Edge, I don't think anybody has a licensed theme anymore.
CM Punk did, I think.
Oh yeah, CM Punk did, but like that was 7 years ago was the last time he
Oh,
wrestled.
you mean
So,
currently? Oh,
oh no, like current,
uh,
no, like I mean, like within the last 5 years, no, but I can't think of a single person who's got a licensed theme. Except, and this is gonna sound, it's gonna sound, you'll be like, whoa, Bray Wyatt technically has a licensed song because, well,
I'll
he
look it
used
up.
to. Sorry, he used to because the story goes his theme song used to be a copyright free song, but they bought, I think WWE bought the license to use it for like, you know, and then like copyrighted it themselves from the owners of the song. And the owners were just like, yeah, sure, gives us exposure. But the owners don't really make a huge amount off of it. I think that apparently their deal is like really bad. But technically, it's still a licensed song because WWE had to pay them when they were using it. But obviously now we've got the Fiend. He's got like a new shit theme, so they don't even need to use that anymore. So they really don't have any licensed themes. All of them were made by CFO Dollar Sign, Jim Johnston, or whoever it is that's making them nowadays.
Bray Wyatt is apparently a licensed song.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, like I say, the old Bray Wyatt theme was a licensed song, but
Yeah.
other than that, nothing else. But
Let
yeah,
me
like
see.
if you look, I was going to say, like thinking back to some of
I
the
didn't
most
hear the name of
iconic
what you said. I
themes.
just heard your explanation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, we go back to some of the most iconic songs of the last like 20 years in the WWE. Batista's theme, licensed song. Triple H's
Yeah.
theme, licensed song. Um, Edge, obviously, licensed song. I was going to say John Cena. John Cena's is technically a WWE song because he sung it while he was a WWE employee, he gave him rights and all that hullabaloo. So technically, it's not a licensed song. But then like some of the more obscure songs, they're not really like iconic ones, but like Raven, his WWE theme or one of his WWE themes was a licensed song. Um, Stone Cold had a licensed song as one of his themes by Disturbed of all people. Was it Disturbed? Oh, it might not have been actually. I think it was the people who sang. Um, oh fuck! I'm trying to use my music knowledge here. Hang on. I should know this because I used to listen to them. It's not. No, it's not Disturbed, but it was. It was like a big like metal band back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It doesn't really matter who they are, but like the point stands. Like obviously, like Stone Cold, one of the biggest wrestlers of all time, if not the biggest. Like he's the highest drawing wrestler of all time, right? For a while,
Yeah.
his theme song was a licensed song, so he obviously, well, not he, but the company would have had to pay a fair bit of money um, on the licensing for that song. You know, so I think the reason they don't do it anymore is because it's easier for them to make a song specifically to fit somebody. Although my argument to that would be, have you listened to any of the CFO Dollar Sign songs? They don't sound like they fit anybody except a random WWE creator character. Like they're the most generic shit ever. But moving on from that, it's easier for them to make one specifically for a character than try and find a song that fits the character, because they make it specifically for them rather than try and get a song that like suits. So they have to go through all sorts, and then they have to go through all the process of licensing it. But also, it's cheaper. Like in the long run, I'm sure the production of the song. I mean, I was going to say like it wouldn't be expensive. It wouldn't be particularly cheap either. But it would be a lot easier for them than just saying, Darude, can we license one of your songs for Naomi or something? Now they can just go, CFO $, or whoever it is that does them now, give us a song that's, it gives off like certain energy and stuff like that,
Yeah.
It's just cheaper for them in the long run because they don't have to give out any licensing fees. And also they can just change it whenever they want. Like they can just stop using it and then give them a new one if they change their character. The only problem I have with them not using licensed songs is the licensed songs generally are better because they're actual songs. Like Kane, Slow Chemical, one of the best WWE entrance themes ever. What a tune that is! But guess what? It's a licensed song.
Yeah.
Finger 11. What else did they sing? Paralyzer. If you've heard the song Paralyzer, it is a song by Finger 11. It's a good song, actually. I quite like it. But yeah, I feel like I'm sort of going in circles here. But yeah, I don't like them not using licensed songs anymore. I think using a licensed song helps them. You hear a certain song and you'll associate that song with the wrestler. If I hear Metalingus, immediately I think of Edge.
Yeah.
It's not often that I listen to Walter Bridge anymore, but if I was just like, so if someone was playing Alter Bridge and I heard Metalingus, immediately I'd be like, oh, that's Edge's theme song. Now, if you played me like Apollo Crews' theme song, I'd be like, that just sounds like a no copyright sound song, to be honest. Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I get what
They're
you
just
mean.
not as
But
iconic as they used to be.
I've got Metalingus on my Spotify playlist, and every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh yeah, a
Wow,
little bit of
John.
Edge.
I don't like
But
Metalingus the song very much. Steaming hot take here. I've heard
I like
Metalingus so
I like
much that
the
I'm sick of it.
remix of it. I mean, Metalingus normally is weird because it's like
Oh, it's got a different
the Edge
opening.
bit is like, you think you know me,
Yeah,
da,
it
da,
starts
da.
with the
But
"You
then
think
like,
you know me," and then it goes straight into it. But the actual Metalingus, it's got like the big like drum interlude,
I've been
and then it doesn't. Yeah,
defeated and bowed down. Oh
yeah,
wow.
it goes into a verse rather than straight into the chorus like the actual theme song does.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, yeah, but like, just don't like Metalingus very much. I don't think it's actually one of Alter Bridge's best songs. I think it's one of their most iconic, obviously, because you
Yeah,
hear it
yeah.
immediately, you think of he's one of the biggest wrestlers WWE's had in the last 15 years. But I don't know, personally, it's not even the best song on that album it's from, Raging hot takes here exclusively on WAP, but it's just not doesn't tickle my pickle anymore.
With the ABAP podcast, the Ultra Bridge Answers podcast.
Alter Bridge Answers podcast. ABAP. What's that song called? There you go. I think it's Burn It Down. Burn It Down's a good song. It sounds like a Seth Rollins theme song. It's
I was
not.
about to say,
Yeah, it's not Seth Rollins' theme song because the album that I'm referring to came out in 2005, and Seth Rollins was still
No.
wrestling. Don't like Seth Rollins' theme song. Yeah, that's another one. Like, I hear that theme song. Like, obviously, I recognise it's Seth Rollins' now because he's had it for a long time, or he had it for a long time. I think it's changed now. But like, it's just not a good song, you know? The best types of entrance themes are ones you can jam to as actual songs. It's why I like, licensed ones, because they're actual songs first and foremost, and then they're entrance themes. And then you've
I mean,
obviously got stuff like
sorry.
David Flair's theme, which unfortunately I'm not allowed to play anymore. But
We associate that with the What podcast. Don't we?
well, first off, we associate that with the WAP podcast, but also it's a banger. So oh god, I'll get copyrighted for that. Oh no.
It's so accurate of
Yeah,
a version.
exactly. But
But
yeah, it's just like it doesn't help the wrestlers get over because it makes them I don't know, just giving them generic shit that nobody would ever listen to as an actual song doesn't actually help them in the long run. Because, like I've explained, Metalingus is a song that I used to actually listen to quite a lot, and I always associate it with Edge. You know,
yeah,
what's it? Batista's theme, "I Walk Alone." That's a tune. Even as an actual song, that's a tune. I always associate that with like whenever I hear that, I just start doing the Batista like the gun taunt thing he does. Like it's
just
like
got pyro fucking going off.
yeah, like it's just ingrained into my head. Like I just do like the start of Batista's entrance.
Oh god.
Oh, what? Oh, honestly, thinking about that song,
No.
I feel like
Yeah,
doing it now. But yeah, like
I
it.
just don't like non-licensed music for WWE. Really,
Yeah,
I've not
because
even
it's
like.
all shit. You hear that? WWE. Ever since you
I
fired
like
Jim
Bobby
Johnson, you
Roode.
stopped licensing songs. You're shit. Get good.
Get better, but no. I think we've given our opinions on that. Really,
Yes.
should we move on to
Yes. Yes.
the final
No.
topic?
No. No.
No.
Yes. 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 No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No. No. I was doing Booker T's theme song because our next segment is Booker T.
I was
It,
associating that it's like
no, it's Booker T's theme. No, it's Booker T's. Oh right.
Can you
Oh right.
dig it, sucker?
See, we're gonna
Yeah.
get copyrighted for this now because that's such a good representation of Mr. Booker. Yeah, Booker T. We're just gonna do his WWE career because obviously just long in it
Five times.
doing his WCW
Five
one
times.
and then his TNA.
Five times.
He came in as
Champion.
a bit of a goober, didn't he? Thinking back to his debut, 2001. It was an episode of Raw not long after WCW got bought. They did the fake WCW test episode thing, right? And he had a match with Buff Bagwell. He's buff tough. He's got the stuff. He also can't wrestle apparently because he had a shit match. Stunk up the
Yeah.
place, and yeah, that was Booker T's first introduction to a WWE fan base. He had a crap match with Buff Bagwell, who got fired immediately after. And then he actually did all right from that point on. Um,
Hmm.
he feuded with The Rock over the WCW title for a bit, and yeah, it was fine. They had a decent match at SummerSlam 2001. And then the Alliance lost, and Booker T just sort of disappeared into the mid card again for a bit. And then he feuded with Big Triple H. And
Yeah.
yeah, WrestleMania 19. That certainly was a feud that WWE don't want you to remember,
It
mostly
happened.
because it did happen. I don't think they want you to remember what happened in it. because you know, it was pretty much built off of Triple H and Ric Flair being racist to him. But, you know, then Booker
Oh,
T
God.
got buried so far down in dirt that it would take him another 3 years to win a main title, like an actual proper title. He did win the US title, but who gives a fuck about the US title?
He didn't
Um,
even deserve the buried alive match. He just
no, he got
got buried.
buried in the ring. Like, he took a
Yeah,
pedigree, and it took 19 seconds for Triple H to pin him after it, and he still won with it. That is diabolical booking. Whoever's done that, that is
Booker. No.
sake. That was
I went there.
incredibly funny. But yeah, after that, he just sort of just milled about in the mid card again. He did form a funny tag team with what's his name? I know his name. Goldust. Goldust, that's his name. He had that funny tag team with Goldust. Then Goldust left because he was addicted to crack cocaine. Um, then what else? Yeah, he just sort of just did nothing for a while, and then he won King of the Ring. And then we got the best incarnation of Booker T, King Booker, and his what would they call it? Like his Knights of the Round Table or some shit like that. Yeah, I quite liked King Booker. Yeah, he had a good feud with Batista. Um,
Yeah.
then I think it was Backlash 2007. Triple H makes his return. Guess who he has his return match against? And guess who is first on the chopping block? King Booker. King Booker was king buried again by Triple H. And then he just sort of did nothing for the rest of his WWE career. Disappeared off to TNA. Won things in TNA, and then he came back at the Royal Rumble 2012. And that was it. I don't think he's done any wrestling since. He's been in the Hall of Fame twice since though, so
Yeah.
good on him. Yeah,
Uh,
I like Booker T. Oh,
about the Royal
I
Rumble
completely
point, I think it
forgot.
was in 2011 and 12.
I might have been. I know he's
It was a 12
definitely in
match.
12 because that was the 40-man one. But quick point, he was also on
Oh no,
commentary.
11 was the 40 man, I think.
Oh, he was in a Royal Rumble. He's been one
But
of the
but
two.
in 2012 they did the thing where all the commentators went in the Rumble. So like Mike Cole went in, Jerry Lawler went in, and I think Booker T was on commentary as well. So I think he went in
Yeah,
then as well.
yeah. But as we were saying, uh, Booker T also did commentary, which was
Mhm.
yeah, it was commentary, all right. Um,
He was very aggressive.
yes, he did have a couple strange catchphrases and idioms. He was an interesting character on commentary. He'd always been a bit of an interesting character in promos and stuff, but seeing a more real Booker T was fascinating. Obviously famous for his shucky ducky quack quack. Um,
Yeah.
then just being insane half the time as well. Can't forget that. Um, but yeah, obviously now he's on the kickoff panel with everyone's favorite person who's blocked me on Twitter, JBL. Um, yeah, he's a regular on the kickoff show, and he's just a barrel of laughs. Like he very clearly doesn't take anything seriously anymore. He's he's just funny, and it's just like this. Fifth, I think he's genuinely like 50 at this point. Like it's just this old crazy man talking about ducks and quacking and Oh, he's a strange fella. Booker T. He's 56. He doesn't look
Wow.
56, you know. He looks younger.
Yeah, I'd say about 40s.
Yeah, I thought he would have
But now, obviously,
been.
he's been around for a while, so.
Oh yeah, he's been around like the early 90s since the early 90s. He actually founded his own promotion, apparently. Reality of Wrestling. Good for him.
Never
He's got
heard
a
of it.
spot. He's got a Spotify, apparently. That's
It was
okay.
just, it's his song with Bad Bunny. It's just,
Yeah. Well, he doesn't even sing in it. He just stands there and Bad Bunny dances around him.
yeah, exactly. He got featured.
Yeah.
He's in the
Yeah.
music video.
Booker T's actual name is Robert as well, which yeah, good for him.
Okay, that's not the right book to see.
Robert.
I'm looking. Yeah, that's not,
Robert.
yeah, I can't find Booker T on Spotify.
Wow.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Wow. Wow.
I've let you all down.
Can't even find Booker T. Huffman. Disgusting.
But oh
Robert Booker
God.
T. O. Huffman. Anyway, yeah, so like Booker T in WWE, obviously we're leaving out considerable portions of his career here for
Oh, a
brevity's
lot.
sake. Because obviously he spent a lot longer in WCW than he did in the WWE. And obviously, like I said, he spent time in TNA where he took the piss for like 2 years, just made a lot of money, got his retirement fund sorted. But yeah, he's in the WWE. He never really became like a big guy. Like he was one of the very
No,
few
no.
WCW guys who made the jump at the start. Like he was one of the very few big WCW guys who sat through the invasion. And because of that, they had to try and make him like this big like main eventer. And he did get main events, like obviously like I say, he had a feud with The Rock over the World Heavyweight Championship, which that's no small feat, to be
Oh yeah.
in a World Championship match with The Rock is it's a big thing. But he just never really made it to the top of the card properly. Even when he was King Booker, or King Booker, sorry. When he was King Booker, um, he was still behind Cena and Batista in like the pecking order, really. He's even behind like Orton. This was like 2006, so Orton still wasn't like big, but like, obviously he still won the world title once. But like, he was still well behind a lot of other guys, and he felt like, unfortunately, he felt a bit like a transitional champion. Like they gave him the belt because they didn't have anyone else other than Batista on SmackDown, or The Undertaker as well, but he would win it like later on. They didn't have anyone other than Batista and The Undertaker who could feasibly win the title. So they
Yeah.
just said, you know what, Booker T's like our last big historically big like main eventer guy. Let's just give him the title. And like I say, King Booker was a really fun gimmick. It was a very good run. He never felt like a big proper threat as a main eventer. Like you never felt like he's gonna make it big time like Cena or Batista.
Yeah,
Then he just
it's a real
disappeared
shame
after that.
because I really enjoyed what I've seen of Booker T. I think he's very exciting to watch.
Oh yeah, like his
Uh,
actual wrestling style was like he was genuinely in WCW one of the best like top level workers they had in the company. Like other than obviously, you guys like Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero before they left, he was
yeah,
legitimately one of the best wrestlers in that company. And even, like I say, when he was King Booker, he was still putting on very good matches because, like, he's a very good wrestler. And I think I spoke about this. I feel like I've actually mentioned this on the podcast before, but like in Harlem Heat, it really was just a one-man team. Like Stevie Ray was pretty much just there for decoration. Like Booker T had to do everything, and he was very good at what he was doing.
But no, I just love Booker T, and it's a shame really.
Yeah,
Like
I
he
think
didn't get
Booker T was obviously before our
as big as
time,
he
like
could have.
watching wrestling. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah, like he was before our time in wrestling, and yeah, like I say, he was huge in WCW. 5-time world champion. Didn't know if you knew that. Um, that's actually why we did Booker T on this episode because it's episode 5, so we do the 5-time, 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 5-time world champion. You know, but yeah,
fantastic.
I do feel like outside of WCW, he never really got the respect he deserved because he pretty much carried WCW on his back for the entire last year of that company's existence. Because at that point, Hogan had buggered off, Goldberg had buggered off, Sting was not appearing nearly as much. Like genuinely, I think it was like Booker T, Steiner, and Jarrett were the only big main eventers who would be appearing week in week out in WCW at that point. And he, fair play to him. He did it. He did the very best he could with fuck all, to be honest.
Yeah, but
But yeah, overall, we love a little bit of Booker. It's just a shame. Obviously, we're too young to appreciate him at his prime. So there you
but
go. Booker T,
is
innit?
that it then?
Yeah, I think that's it. Quite a quite a short episode this week,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
feel
Well,
like
it's about our usual length, I would say.
hour and a half, there and abouts.
It's
But
pretty close.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, we don't really have anything more to say. Like I think I said this at the start of the episode. Obviously, there was uh, no David Flair theme song on this episode. I don't think he'll be coming back unless I can somehow fiddle my way into not getting copyright claimed for it. But
Yeah,
I don't see that happening. So yeah, if there's not a no copyright entrance, if there's not like a no copyright intro song on this episode, uh, well, that's a shame. But there should
yeah.
be
But
one for episode 6 next week. Um, anything else? I don't know if there is.
uh,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I guess I'll just say goodbye to you all.
yes,
Since you've
yeah, it's
gone again.
be goodbye from us. Um, hopefully see you guys next week for
Goodbye.
another waptastic journey through Wrestling Answers
And podcast.
podcast. Goodbye.
Bye bye.